Few spend ages scrolling for files just to find what you want, and when you do find them, you send those files to your colleagues as attachments in emails. This video's for you. I'll show you how to search SharePoint properly and efficiently. And once you've found the file that you're looking for, how you can send a link to that file to your colleagues, or if you need to share it with them, how to do that securely. This is part 3 in our SharePoint Simplified video series. Parts 1 and 2 are linked down in the description, so make sure you're all caught up. But you know the deal, let's head on over to the computer and take a look. So here I am, I'm on the homepage of my SharePoint site. So if I want to search across this entire site for documents, I have this search box at the top of the page, and as it says, search this site. So if I want to search, I just click in the box and I'm going to search for IT services. So we can see across the top, I'm searching across organization and I'm in the demo contracts site. It's searching across this site and all of the files that are contained in there. So by default, the search is scoped to all items within the site. I can refine this down to files, to any sites, to any news items, or to images. Here I only have files stored within my libraries. So if I click on sites, news, images, I'm not actually going to return any results. The image search for the moment is only searching the file names, doesn't search the text within images yet. I suspect Microsoft may do that at some point in the future, but files, the SharePoint search index will find whatever your search term is, both within file names and within the contents of your usual document types. So Word, Excel, PowerPoint, text, PDF, the usual kind of suspects of files. It's also great that I've got these little filters as well. So these come out of the box by default, so I can filter my search by file type. So I'm going to filter for Word documents and click apply. You can see I had folders listed earlier. They've now disappeared because I'm only searching for Word documents. And I do have the option here as well to specify a date range. This can be really, really useful to say, well, I know the file was modified within the past week, past month, or I can even select a custom date range as well. So if I know I'm searching for a Word document that I know was modified between June and August of 2025, for instance, I would be able to select that date range and further filter down my results. By default, the results are sorted by relevance. So the relevance comes from the search index, and based on your terms, it will push the most likely document to the top of the results. We're all used to this from search engines such as Google or Bing. It will determine what is the most likely result based on whatever query you've entered and put that at the top. But if you want, I can sort by date modified, newest, date created newest, or date created oldest. So going back to the results themselves, you will see for most document types, I'm able to see a small thumbnail of the contents of the documents, which can be really, really useful. It can help you to kind of pinpoint the document more accurately. But you will also see, as well as the name of the document, I've got the location where that document is stored. You can see this is stored within this demo contract site within a library called Test Contracts. If I scroll down, this particular one is stored within a library called Contracts within a folder. It's actually a document set rather than a folder. It's given me the path to where that file is stored, which can also help you to kind of further refine your search results. Really useful. Now with searching in SharePoint, I could search across the top level for the entire site. But if I know my document exists within a particular library, I can navigate to that library and perform the search there, therefore narrowing down that particular search query. So again, if I type in IT services, I can see I've got those results there. This one is fairly obvious because it's contained within the title, but here you can see it's actually picking up those search terms within these other documents as well. So if I click on this text file, for instance, there we go. We can see it's picked up the term IT services that exists within that particular file. And if I had a folder here and I wanted to search within the folder, I could click within that, perform the search, and I'm always narrowing down that particular search. I am within a particular library here, and if I wasn't finding what I was looking for, I could choose to expand the search to all items within that site, and that would just take me back to that similar search experience we saw earlier, where it's just returning everything it finds within this site, regardless of which library it sits in. So that's a basic overview of searching in SharePoint. What about sharing links? It's really common to be able to send the link to a document to your colleague. It's one of the great features of SharePoint. You've got a single place for a document to live. You don't have to pick up the document and then email it to a colleague as attachment. It's a waste of storage space in your inbox, and you end up with a proliferation of versions, because you have a version in SharePoint, you have one in your outbox, you have one in your colleague's inbox. They may save it somewhere else, and all of a sudden you've got 3, 4, 5 different versions. So it's very common just to be able to pick a particular file, copy the link, and then send it to your colleague. So what I'm going to do, select this document at the top here. There's always a couple of ways to achieve anything. If I highlight the document here, you can see I have this copy link button. If I click my ellipsis, I also have the copy link option here, right at the top. So if I click on that copy link button, here you can see people with existing access can use the link. That's a fairly sensible default, so it prevents me from oversharing the document to someone who potentially shouldn't have access. But if I click on settings here, we've got a few different options. So the defaults for a site can be set within the admin center. So when you click on a link, it will default to whatever you set. So you can set it to people within your organization. I can set it to that, only people with an existing access, or people you choose. Now, I would recommend that you leave this as only people with existing access, or specific people that you choose. That will prevent you from oversharing, and that's something that your admin is most likely set for you at the tenant level. So all you need to do is click on the copy link, that's copied to your clipboard, and then all I need to do is open up Teams or open up an email, and then I can send that link to my colleague. Let me show you how that looks in Teams. So here I am in Teams. I'm in my conversation with Henrietta. So what I want to do is to send Henrietta that link. It's in my clipboard. I can just paste in the link, and as well as the link, she will receive a little preview of that, and I can add some text to that as well. Here is the file, and I can just click go. Henrietta can click on that. That link is opening from that one document library, a single version of the truth. If I wanted as well, I could also send her that in an email. But again, one version of the truth. She is always going to that single version of the document. Right, let's go back to our library. And if I want to share that document with a colleague who was perhaps outside of this site, I can, again, there's a couple of ways to do that. I can highlight the document and I can click on the share button, or I can use the ellipsis menu and I can click on share. Now, sharing will bring up this dialog box showing the name of the file. We'll go top to bottom on this. So default option here is can view, so I can send a read-only link to a user. I can send them an edit link so they can make changes to the document. A review link allows them to suggest changes to the document, but not actually edit it itself. But I can also further restrict that by sending them a can't download link, so they can view the document, but only in the browser. They will not be able to download that document to their desktop. I'm quite happy with the can view changes. But to scroll down here, I can click on the link settings. So here the option is people I choose. The option is I can view. I can even set an expiration date for this sharing as well. So let's just say I want this to expire on the 30th of January. I can click on apply, specific people I choose, and I'm going to enter in the name of my colleague Grady. Now I've got a couple of options here. I can click on send, and that will send a generic out of the box email that Microsoft give you with, it will say Mark shared this document with you and have a link. It's perfectly functional. It works really well. If I want to add in a custom message, I can do so. I can just click send, or if I want, I can just click on the copy link button and it will copy this sharing link with all of these settings applied. So it will be a view-only link, which will expire on Friday, the 30th of January 2026, and it will apply only to this particular user. So I can copy that link. I can then paste that into an email, paste it into a Teams message, send it to my colleague. Only he will be able to open that link. So if he forwards it to anyone else, they will not be able to use that. And also, after the 30th of January, even he will not be able to access that because that sharing link will have expired. So there we go. Searching, sending links, and sharing in SharePoint. Really isn't that scary. So there we go. Searching for files in SharePoint really isn't that scary. Then once you've found your files, being able to share with your colleagues or send links to them rather than emailing them as attachments really is a lot simpler than you've probably imagined. Cutting down on the number of versions that are flying around. If you can imagine the situation, you've got a version stored somewhere in SharePoint, you've got a version that's in your outbox, a version that's in your colleague's inbox. They make a change, they send it back. All of a sudden, one version becomes 5. If you're pointing to a single version of the truth and you've got the version history there, which we covered in the last video, it really is the kind of perfect storm for collaboration. But if you're still struggling and you would like some help, then do head on over to our website at iglootech.com. It is linked down in the description. Fill out that contact form and we'd love to talk to you.